Meet Bob DeCastro, the powerhouse anchor and reporter from Good Day LA. Since 2004, Bob has been at the forefront of Southern California's biggest stories. His journey from the bustling streets of New York City to the sunny vibes of LA is nothing short of epic. And before chasing headlines, he sailed the seas as a lieutenant on a U.S. Navy destroyer. Now let's dive deeper with Bobby D.
Bobby,
Yes.
who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? I am Roberto DeCastro. My middle name is Ong. It's my mom's maiden name. But I've been in LA at this station actually for over 20 years. And I love it. Who am I?
What's your favorite time of day?
My favorite time of day has changed. It used to be the evenings because I used to be this huge night owl. I love to go out late at night to the wee hours of the morning. And then when I came to the station, kind of funny thing, I worked for the 10 o'clock news in New York. I would do the 10 o'clock news and then I'd quickly change and I'd go out and I'd be out till 4 o'clock in the morning. And when I came here to LA, the news director said, Jose Rios, hello Jose, he said, I think we want you for the morning show. I think we want you for Good Day LA. I was like, no, I'm not a morning person. And quickly I started doing these early morning hours and now I actually prefer mornings. I'm a morning person. I wake up, I don't go back to bed. I rarely ever press the snooze button. I jump up and literally jump and get out of bed, as our song says in the morning. And I like to seize the day and get things done early. So yeah, a morning person.
What's your biggest weakness?
My biggest weakness would probably be saying no, I think, because I like to make people happy. I'm probably one of those people pleasers. So I bend over backwards to do stuff for people. If someone were to ask something, a favor, it's hard for me to say no. So I've gotten a little better at that. Over the years, I've learned, no is no, be firm.
What's your biggest strength?
My biggest strength is, I hate talking about myself. It's so funny that way. But my biggest strength, I don't want to brag. I would say probably my heart. I think I have a good heart. I think I have care and compassion for people. And that kind of informs me in my life and kind of leads me to, motivates me to be good to other people.
What's the biggest learning experience you've had?
The biggest learning experience that I have had, I would say just life in general, because life has truly been an adventure and taking a career path from college to going into the Navy and being a naval officer and making a right-hand turn and doing TV. That's kind of been, what was the question? It's been a long day.
What's the biggest learning experience you've
Learning
had?
experience. I would say life, because you never stop learning. That's one thing I have definitely learned throughout life and actually in this job, which every day is completely different. And we get to see so many different things, see how people live. And that has, it's just been a great learning experience to be in this job, and life has been a learning experience. You never stop learning.
Are you more of an introvert or extrovert?
Oddly, being in front of the camera, it's funny because people would probably naturally say that I'm an extrovert, but I think naturally I'm an introvert. I don't put myself forward. I'm never the first person. People at the station would know if we have these meetings and stuff, I'm never the person to raise my hand and ask the first question. And growing up, I was so much of an introvert. In fact, I in high school, as an example, I didn't have that many friends, and like during lunch when the bell would ring and people would go to lunch and see their friends and play, or in high school, socialize with their friends, I would take my homework from the first 4 periods, go to my next class for the next 2 periods, do all of my homework from the previous classes, and really kind of never interact with anyone. I was all by myself in an empty classroom doing my work for the day, and I'd get home, there'd be no homework, nothing to study for, because I did it all. But I didn't have a lot of friends because I just was very introverted. I liked being by myself. So introvert.
What's your idea of a perfect date?
My idea of a perfect date. Boy, that was a long time ago. It's a very good question, because I can't say that I've ever really been on a lot of dates. I can't say I've ever been on a lot of dates. But if I put myself into my younger self, I guess it would just be a nice dinner conversation. See what happens after that.
What's one vice you wish you could give up?
I like wine. I like wine, and then you open the bottle, drink one, and you're like, oh, it's so good. You have dinner, you have the next glass, and it's hard to keep the weight off if you're enjoying a couple of glasses of wine. But yeah, it's definitely a vice, but I try to do it in moderation.
What's a cause that's important to you?
A cause that is important to me, being prior military, I think it's looking out for our veterans who are out there. It's a lot of homeless veterans that are out there. And also just making sure that we advocate for people who are separating or leaving the military, that people understand that these are people who have a whole different set of life experiences that are extremely valuable and could be a good asset to any organization.
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
I would say any compliment. There's not one compliment that I would say was the best one. Any compliment that tells me that anything I've done with work, or a story that I've done when we've profiled someone or highlighted someone's life, or something that they have done and really has changed who their outlook in life or made them feel good that day. Those are always the best compliments for me.
When do you feel the most inspired?
I feel the most inspired when I know that we've made a difference work-wise in someone's life. Personally, I feel the most inspired when I just accomplish all of my tasks for the day. Get that good workout in, get it done as hard as it is. And at the end of the day, if you can look back at the end of the day and see that you've had a good day, to be able to sleep at night and to wake up every morning refreshed, I think is inspiring.
Sweet or savory?
We have to pick sweet or savory. I would say if I had the choice, it would probably be savory. And I only say that because if I had to choose a breakfast between a savory or a sweet breakfast like pancakes, I don't prefer the pancakes, although I do like pancakes and cinnamon buns and those things. But if I had the choice, I'd probably lean toward having the eggs, bacon, nice crispy bacon.
What song can you listen to on repeat?
What song can I listen to on repeat? I just like happy songs. I generally gravitate towards happier songs, ones where you can roll down the window and dance to or listen to or sing to. So I have such a wide, I have such a big catalog that it's hard to pick one song, but I just generally like really upbeat, happy songs, and then being like a child of the 80s, I love 80s music.
What makes you smile the most?
What makes me smile the most? What makes me smile the most? That's a good question. I wouldn't say the most. I love good comedies. I love people who are able to, clever people who are able to make you laugh. That's always fun. Stuff on the internet, stuff on Instagram and TikTok. Doom scrolling. It's constant laughs.
What's one thing people don't know about you?
What is one thing people don't know about me? If people watch the show enough, they do know that I'm a twin. But not a lot of viewers might know that I'm a twin. I have an identical twin brother who is the same but different. Lives in a different state. Has a wife and 2 beautiful sons. And maybe they might not know that I have him as a brother, and I also have 3 other brothers. So I grew up in a family of 5 boys. There are 5 of us running around here, 5 DeCastros running around the country, and I am the only one here on the West Coast.
Sneakers or flip-flops?
I would say out and about, definitely sneakers, because you get great support. Flip-flops at the beach or barefoot, at home barefoot. So sneakers out and about.
Vintage or new?
I prefer everything vintage. Although clothing, well, I wish I was a good vintage clothes shopper, and I'm not too great at that. But I do have this affinity for vintage things. I actually go to a lot of vintage store, and I like antiquing. So one man's trash is another man's treasure, and I do peruse around vintage stores. I love to look at art and old things that people have, things that have stories behind them. So I do. I prefer vintage to new.
What are 3 things you can't live without?
3 things I can't live without. Like everyone else out there, I can't live without my phone, because it basically has your entire life on it. I can't live. Oh, I should have put my family first. Reverse it. Family. Family first. You can't live without your family. Family, phone, and fun. There you go.
Window or aisle seat?
I actually prefer the window seat, although I always get the aisle. But I prefer the window seat because you can lean your head up against the window and just sleep, and then you have your own little area over here. And if you can hold it, you don't have to use the bathroom, and you're all good there in your little domain. Let's go for the window.
What's your current TV character obsession?
My current TV character obsession. I don't really have a TV character obsession. A big TV character obsession. I don't have one. Is that okay to say that?
Morning person or night owl?
This is a repeat question, isn't it? But I would say that I am a morning person. Although on the weekends I can turn into a night owl very easily. If I have the energy, no problems with going out at night. Depends on the vibe. Great place, everybody's dancing, great music, then I definitely can keep it going all night long. But in general, partially because of this job, if your circadian rhythm has you waking up super early in the morning, then on the weekends, you're definitely hitting that gym super early in the morning. So morning.
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done in your life?
The most adventurous thing I have ever done in my life. I feel like this job itself is an adventure because every day is different. Sometimes in my younger years, I would basically just do everything they told me to. So rappelling off a skyscraper in downtown LA when they asked me to do that, and I said, sure. And then looking over the side and thinking, this was not a good decision. Now, I'm less adventurous, I would say. I've been asked to fly with the Blue Angels or jump out of an airplane. No kidding, jump out of an airplane. We'll help you do it. And I'm more, risk averse now. I don't take as many risks, but this job in itself is an adventure. And I don't know about which would be the most adventurous thing they've ever done, but there are just so many adventures. I'm ready for more.
How would you define yourself in 3 words?
How would I define myself in 3 words? Friendly, compassionate, and strong-willed. That's 4.
What's your current favorite piece of clothing that you own?
Current favorite piece of clothing that I own. I wear so much workout gear. That's probably my outfit of the day all the time, because when I leave here, and I don't buy that many suits and ties and things like that. I have so much of it. It's in kind of a weird way, what we wear on the air, I kind of almost look like costumes, because some of my suits and things are so old, and I'll just like repurpose them, or some of the ties are so old, and even if they have holes in it, like some of the shirts I have even have like holes in the back, or I'll take them to the tailor and they'll say, we can't fix this. There's no way you can fix it. I'm like, you don't really need to fix it. It just needs to stay together. Pants that have big giant holes in them, I say, just sew the pants up so I can wear them. Like, no one looks at the pants. No one looks at the pants. So I've got so many of those clothes, but my outfit of the day, usually when I get out of these costumes, are workout gear. So I have a lot of tops and bottoms that are just workout gear because they're comfy. And then when I go home, it's usually PJs.
What's a must-have clothing item everyone should own?
A must, baseball cap. Baseball cap, bad hair day. Wear that Dodgers baseball cap. Everyone should have one.
What's inspiring you in life right now?
What's inspiring me in life right now is actually just enjoying every day, living every day to the fullest. I just feel like I'm in a good place in my life right now, that there's nothing that I really, everybody could always want more money, but for me, I've got my health, I've got great family, got a good job. So I'm just really, really happy right now.
Favorite sports teams?
Favorite sports teams, Dodgers, of course. I grew up in the South, so I have family who's gone to different colleges, and so my twin brother went to Florida State. I do like Florida State Seminoles. There's our local teams here, the Lakers, of course.
Least favorite sports teams.
Least favorite sports teams. I don't have any sports teams that I just despise or do not like. But generally, any team that is playing against the Dodgers in the World Series or in the playoffs, and in general, if I don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to two teams in a sporting event, I often just root for the underdog. I always find myself rooting for the little engine that could.
What's one item you can't live without?
What is one item I can't live without? Like everybody, did everybody say they couldn't live without their phone? Did anybody else say anything different? This is probably the same answer. You do everything with it. You do everything with it. I've gotten to the point right now where I don't even carry my wallet. So strange not to have a wallet, but I do everything on the phone. Now and if they won't take the electronic Apple Pay, then I just say forget it. Or just look online and buy it online. So it's the phone.
What's the best piece of advice you've received?
The best piece of advice is that I have received. I've received so much advice. I would say one of the best pieces of advice was probably just to take a risk. Even though I just said earlier that I'm more risk averse. But take a risk, take chances. With this one life that you have, take those chances. And I think I took a lot of chances in life, and you never know until you get to that no. Just keep going.
What's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve is people who are rude or disrespectful to other people. And yeah, sometimes I catch myself, because sometimes I can go in there and would want to, I've almost like defended others who were the victim of someone's rude behavior. And then I'm like, is this my business? Is this my business? And I don't know exactly what happened here, but I just don't like disrespecting people.
Who is your role model?
There are several, but I'm sure everyone you've spoken to here will probably say their parents. Hopefully that's for me, it'd be my parents. My parents were immigrants. My father was a veteran and a recipient of the Bronze Star, Vietnam veteran, and just worked hard, worked through his way through life and made sure he put his family first. And my mom came here as a physician and helped the underserved, dedicated her life to helping the underserved. And so they were two people who just cared about their family, they cared about their country, they just cared about other people. So they would be my role models.
You're going out to celebrate. What are you ordering?
If I'm going out to celebrate, what am I ordering? Drinks. Probably start off with a good old martini. If it's a Mexican restaurant, then a margarita. Skinny. A skinny margarita on the rocks with salt. But a dry martini with olives. Maybe some wine. As I said, I do love wine. And for dinner, it depends on where we are. But if it's a upscale restaurant, maybe a nice steak. Love a good steak.
What's something you notice about someone when you first meet them?
You notice the confidence that someone has, and I notice their attitude and the way that they treat other people. And of course, physically, you always notice someone's smile, the friendliness that exudes from someone.
What's your biggest regret?
My biggest regret Well, we are always told not to regret life, to move on. But if I had to do it all over again, if I could rewind the clock, then I would say maybe taking more chances. Financially, I'd buy more real estate because it was so cheap back then. When I look at all these investments that I could have made even 20 years ago, I've had so many opportunities, and we've done pretty good for myself. But to make some of those investments back then would have been pretty cool to have that apartment in New York.
What's heavily played on your playlist right now?
What is heavily played on my playlist right now? Lately, I've been listening to a lot of country. Oddly, yeah, a lot of country.
What's your favorite board game?
My favorite, well, it's been forever since I've actually played a board game, but my favorite board game would probably be, if I look back at my childhood, we played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I had 4 brothers, and so we'd all pick our character and choose your adventure, and my character was the thief. His name was Gavin the Thief. And yeah, it was good times.
What's your guilty pleasure?
This keeps coming back around. My guilty pleasure is probably wine. It's probably wine, and it's probably, don't laugh. Because there are others out there. Wine and probably junk food or fast food. I don't normally eat a lot of fast food, but if I could eat fast food every day and it wasn't so bad for you, I'd probably do it.
What book did you most recently finish?
If we look back to the year 2000, that would be the last book I finished. I don't even remember the name of the last book I finished. I like history books when I do read, because now I've gotten to like podcasts and documentaries about history. But there's an easy book that I remember reading on vacation. I'm not even kidding, this is probably 15, 20 years ago. The book is literally called Don't Know Much About History, and it goes through American history from the start of the country to kind of present day in like 400, 500 pages or something like that. Like, it's so condensed, but it's a pretty easy read, and it's satisfying to me to like learn about history. So I don't remember the name of the last book I read. It was probably a bathroom book that's like this, but that's the one that comes to memory.
Who is your biggest inspiration or motivator?
That's the same question, because it comes back to my parents and my family. My parents, as I said before, they were 2 people who were all about serving their community, serving their country, and my siblings have all led that similar path, being doctors, nurses, police officers. What happened to me? I'm the newscaster.
How do you start your day?
How do I start my day? Well, because I have to get in here so early, I literally I think about my day the day prior, the night prior, and I actually lay out all of my clothes, the tie, the shirt, the whole outfit is already laid out. And I even take some of the clothes, like my tie, I'll put it in my car, knowing I'm gonna be half dressed when I get into the car in the morning. But my day starts, at least a work day starts, very quickly, because I jump in the shower, brush my teeth, get my cup of coffee and perhaps my lunch, and I immediately get into the car. I can be out of bed and at work, at my desk. Well, actually, this is interesting. I could be out of bed and on air in, how long does it take? In an hour? Hour and 15 minutes? Yeah. So I pretty much get ready very quickly, come to work, and then, it takes me 15. I don't live too far from work, from the studio, so in that whole hour of prep, get right on air.
What's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday would probably be Thanksgiving? Maybe Christmas. I say that, and then we all know how stressful it ends up being, especially if you're responsible for the turkey, but it's not really that stressful. So I would say Thanksgiving, because it brings the whole family together, and you just love what's not to like about the warmth of the holidays.
If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
If I could switch lives for a person for a day, I would say who's the richest person in the country, but I'm like, would I want his life or see his life? I don't know if I'd switch lives with anyone. No one comes to mind.
What's one thing you've always wanted to try to do, but have been too scared?
Too scared to do it. One thing that I've always wanted to do, but have been too scared to do it. Well, if I'm too scared to do it, I'm not doing it. As I said, I would not, years ago I would have jumped out of a plane. I wouldn't do it now. I would love to be able to, let's say, learn how to scuba dive, but I've kind of just tried putting on the gear and I didn't necessarily like it, so I'm not gonna try that. I'm at that point in my life, if I'm too scared to do it, then it's okay. It's not for me. Someone else can do it.
What's the one thing you wish you knew at age 19?
The one thing I wish I knew at age 19, I would say that it's okay at that age to take giant risks. Because even at age 19, I was already on this defined path to go do something. But I think, if I had to do it all over again, I'd take giant risks, travel more, take those risks, because the doors, so many doors that could still open. Whatever path you take, you'll see several more paths in front of you.
Besides your phone or wallet, what are a couple of must-have items?
A couple of must-have items. Besides your phone and wallet, what are a couple of must-have items? Honestly, I don't need anything. I've just learned you don't really need much. I mean, my car, just so that you have transportation. Clothes, unless walk around again. Be much easier, wouldn't it?
If you weren't doing your current job, what would you be doing?
I think I would be an attorney, because they do similar things. They take complex issues and try to simplify them, and their job is to tell compelling stories. So I think attorney.
What's something you can't do?
Something that I can't do. Well, something that I can't do, or things that I can do partially, but would like to do better. I'm changing the question. First of all, one thing I can't do that I would like to do, I would like to learn how to sew. like tailor something, right? Because I would love to be able to make my own pillows and make curtains and make my own jacket. I saw a guy the other day, he had this great jacket. I'm like, wow, that's such a cool jacket. He's like, yeah, I made it myself. It had a different liner in it, different cuffs. I'd love to be able to learn how to do something like that. So that's something that I don't know how to do, that I would love to do sometime, maybe in retirement. I wish I knew more languages. Love to learn different languages, which is kind of with your language translator now, they're kind of becoming obsolete anyway. Learning different languages, they'll just be able to translate it for you. But it's fun. But speaking different languages is fun.
Where was the best vacation you've ever taken?
This questionnaire is always like the superlatives, like the best. And I think it's always really hard because I wouldn't say anything was the best because so many vacations I've taken were incredible. But I do like going to places where you can really see a different culture. So much of the world has become such a smaller place, and if you travel a lot, you see like everybody speaks English, and then there's a Starbucks on every corner. Every big avenue is like a shopping mall and has every store, clothing store, name brand that you can imagine. So going to a different place that is vastly different to me is often the most interesting. So as an example, Japan was unbelievable and incredible because everybody speaks Japanese, not a lot of English speaking. The caricatures or the words and there's not a lot of English out there, so that made it different. And then they're proud of their culture, and they lean hard into it. And I just love that you're experiencing a vastly different culture. So to see that was pretty incredible. Been to Istanbul, Turkey, which was also pretty incredible, and Poland was also an amazing place. But yeah, more to come.
What's one city you've always dreamed of traveling to?
One city that I dreamed of traveling to, Buenos Aires, I think is big on my list. I'd like to go to, where else? Oh, I'm going to Amsterdam soon. That was on my list. I hear they have interesting stuff going on over there. It'll be a fun time.
What's something you always travel with?
Other than my phone, because that's everybody's answer is gonna be their phone. I actually, when I travel to foreign countries, I actually like to have a guidebook. I know it's on everybody's phone, but I like to have things like kind of in front of me, and I like to be able to cross them out and reference it constantly. And it's just nice to be able to, pretty old school in that way. It's nice to be able to carry it around and kind of check things off and see what you've done and what else there is left to do.
Favorite food?
Favorite food, again, this questionnaire asks you to pick just one, but if it was your last meal, this is gonna be your last meal, what do you want? It would probably end up being fast food. Burgers and fries, something like that. I'm just guessing.
Favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert would probably be, if I had my choice, probably ice cream. Ice cream, something like cookies and cream.
Favorite snack?
Favorite snack, there's a difference between favorite snack that you would eat or favorite snack that you do eat. Favorite snack that I don't eat but would eat if it wasn't bad for you would probably be something like potato chips, favorite snack that I do eat, beef jerky. Trader Joe's has some good beef jerky, let me tell you.
Best place to eat in LA.
Best place to eat in LA. Again, this is it's a funny list because we have so many different food options here in Los Angeles. I'm gonna say one only because it's the place that I go to all the time, not for any reason than I just love the family there that runs this restaurant, and it just has a fun, festive atmosphere, and it's not fussy. I like to go to El Compadre. They have flaming margaritas.
What's a movie that made you cry?
A movie that made me cry, and there's so many. There's a couple. I was gonna say there's a couple movies recently that made me cry. Anora, which won the Oscar. I don't want to spoil this for anyone if you're gonna watch the movie. But anyway, it made me. I don't want to say cry. I wasn't weeping, but you get a little teary, and you feel for the characters. Anora, the main character in this movie, she's this fierce, strong girl, independent. You don't know how she got into the situation that she got into. They don't really explain it. And the entire movie, she's so tough as nails. And you think to yourself, like, she doesn't care about anything. But in the end, you see the tenderness and the sweetness and the human side of her. That made me really, choked me up inside. And honestly, I wasn't expecting this, but because we see these movies as they come out, I was watching Wicked. I kind of fast forwarded through a lot of the parts that to me got slow, but at the end, when Elphaba hits that note, you're like, whoa, ooh, it kind of gets you. It's a powerful note.
What's your favorite movie of the last 5 years?
I'm not a big cinephile, so I see a lot of movies, but I generally just fall asleep when I watch movies because I'm too tired. Work all day, wake up early in the morning, and I barely see the end of the movie. So there's not one I could say that was my favorite movie. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
What's one talent you wish you had?
One talent I wish I had, I'll bring it back to being able to speak multiple language. I'd love to be a linguist. I once had a friend who was a linguist, and he was a linguist, studied in Harvard, knew a lot of languages. And we literally would go to a restaurant, like an Asian restaurant that's like a sushi restaurant, and they'd be talking to each other. And not just because you're in a sushi restaurant doesn't necessarily mean that they're Japanese, by the way. But he would be able to speak to them and would keep speaking different Asian languages until he figured out the right Asian where was their heritage to finally get to it. But it's such an incredible skill to be able to know and communicate with lots of different groups of people. So I'd love to be able to speak a few languages.
What's your favorite exercise?
Favorite and exercise, I don't know if they really go together. I used to love to run, but now I'm just like, my feet are heavy, my legs are heavy, and you're just like, oh my God, 2 miles, 3 miles. Probably don't get past that right now. But now I try to get it done in an hour. So I like to take classes. I usually take the high intensity training classes just to get it done.
What's your favorite band?
I don't have a favorite band, but as an 80s kid, I listened to a lot of sort of like 80s bands, rock bands, pop bands. So I would just say I like 80s music.
What's your favorite fast food order?
Favorite fast food order would, I said burger and fries, right? Before as a favorite fast food order. More specifically, it would probably be McDonald's. And I would get maybe the 2 cheeseburger meal or a Big Mac with a Diet Coke.
What's something you don't want to be doing in 10 years?
Something I don't want to be doing in 10 years. Did anybody say working? Did anybody say that? They don't want to be here in 10 years? They did. I'm not afraid to say that. You know, in 10 years, I hope I don't know, maybe I'll still be here. I've already been here for decades as it is.
What's the cutest thing on planet Earth?
The cutest thing on planet Earth, probably just babies and puppies, and you find yourself scrolling through Instagram and TikTok and all the little cute babies. Now that like the eaglets are like the biggest thing, right? Just seeing the little tiny eaglet babies eating roadkill, but it's still cute.
What's the best thing that's happened this year?
Oof. This has been a tough year. 2025 has already been a really, really tough year given all the stuff that's happened in our area. But I think the best thing that has happened in light of all of that is just watching everyone come together to lift people who have had the misfortune of losing their homes or their lives have been completely changed. So just to watch LA come together has been uplifting.
What's your favorite cocktail?
Keep asking me about the cocktails. Should I change my order? I can change my order. I had already ordered a dry martini. I've ordered a skinny margarita. If I had to change it up, it would be, sipping on a good bourbon.
Which movie makes you laugh the hardest?
Which movie makes me laugh the hardest? White Chicks is hilarious. Always a good one, especially when they get on the dance floor and start breakdancing. That one's amazing. Coming to America is also hilarious. Eddie Murphy is just so great in those movies.
What do you usually eat for dinner?
So, for dinner, usually during the week, I try to be as healthy as possible. So I usually eat a salad to start off with, start every meal with a salad, and then make something that's somewhat healthy, higher lean protein based dinner with fewer carbs. And then, see, it depends on the day. Friday night could be Mexican, going out to a Mexican restaurant. And Sunday night is usually my cheat day, and almost every Sunday we have pasta night Sunday. So we'll make red sauce, spaghetti, pasta, sometimes pizza, but mostly pasta.
What do you usually eat for lunch?
For lunch, sometimes I don't eat lunch, which is pretty interesting because I leave here and then I go to the gym. And for the most part. Sometimes I just kind of skip lunch altogether or I don't eat lunch that often, to be honest. Yeah, lunch isn't my big meal.
What do you usually eat for breakfast?
I don't eat a lot of breakfast either. I don't eat a lot of breakfast. I bring to work some hard-boiled eggs and also some fruit for the mornings. You would think that I would be like the most fit person given the fact that I barely eat lunch and eat hard-boiled eggs for breakfast, which is not the case. So obviously I'm eating elsewhere, but on the weekends, you know what it is? I'm a weekend warrior. That's what it is. Because then on the weekends, I will have eggs, good rye toast. So, yeah, I'm a better breakfast eater on the weekends, but I don't eat that much breakfast, honestly, during the week.
What's your rating of the sit?
I don't think I'd have a rating because, first of all, I have never watched any of the sit on any of my other colleagues, and to be honest, I don't think I'd watch my own sit. Cut. Can we do it again? Can we do it again?